Hello, this is a quick start video for PioSOLVER, which is a very fast GTO solver for poker. The version I have here is the newest one as of today, which is 1.9.2, released 3 days ago. And I'm going to go through basic functionality and show you how to use the program. So first, we what we see here is the browser, our tree browser, but we need to build and solve some tree to actually use it. So to do that, we go to PostLog tree building and calculation tab, and we see this big scary form here. Maybe I will start to fill that up. So the way we choose ranges for OOP player and IP player is that by clicking those squares here, and we can click the range. Like this is a typical range selector. You can use weights as well if you want. But instead of choosing a range myself, I will just use one of those which are included in the solver. So yeah, maybe we can make, for example, BB defense against cutoff or something like that. Sorry, this is IP, so we want a still in range, and then for OOP we want BB against bottom. Then we choose the board, which is straightforward. Then the starting pot. Let's say that we play 5-10, so then if the raise is for 225, then the starting pot would be 55, and the effective stacks would be 975. Yeah, and then there are those bet sizes, raise sizes, and etc. As it is a quick start video, I'm not going to fill that manually right now. I'm going to choose one of those included configurations. The one I'm going to choose is this 6 max button against big blind and 3-bet pot. The reason I'm choosing this one is because it's included in our free version as well. So this video is going to be useful for both commercial and free version. In a free version, you can solve this exact flop. So you can put any tree you want here, but there is only one board you can use. And in commercial version, of course, you can use any board you want. So what we have here is a 3-bet pot in 5-10 with 5-10 blinds. So the starting pot is 185. Effective stacks are 910, and then there are bet sizes. There are in percent. They're expressed in percentages. So this is 55, 52%, 52%. And the raise sizes you can use either percent or x notation. So 2.5x, 3x, and etc. I'm going to go through more options later, but for now let's build this tree. You can see that the solver have built the tree, and the tree takes like 300 megabytes, so it's not very big. Then click estimate, it will show you 380. It's actually smaller because the board is suited. So there are some optimizations, but yeah. Okay, so now we can build the tree, and yeah, it's appeared in our browser. You can see that if you click strategy, there is 50% for every action. So this tree is not solved yet. That's the beginning stage of the tree. And now if you want to solve it, we click go here. So I'm going to do right now. And you can click in task manager that the solver is working, and it's using almost all the CPU. PioSOLVER can use a lot of cores, so the stronger CPU you have, the faster it's going to solve. So it is working, and I have a bit of time to go through the rest of those options. So there are bet sizes and raise sizes on every street. There is an option to add all-in, and this all-in is only added if it's an overbet by less than 500% of the pot. You can of course edit it and only include all-in if it's like 2 times the pot, so then you put 200%. There are raise sizes as well. You can use percent, you can use 3x. There is all-in threshold. That means that if more than this percentage of the stack is already invested, then all the bets are going to be rounded to all in. There are more options as well, and I'm going to go through them in separate video. You can play around with them and see what the tree is. I'm going to do that later in this video. So meanwhile, our solver is solving the tree, and it's already at very good accuracy after 76 seconds, which is nice. Even though I'm recording this video, which takes some resources. So let's see what the solver output is here. It's showing EV for OOP player. So you have those chunks every step, which are produced by the solver. Maybe I'm going to stop it now. It's already very good accuracy. So we can see our results are here. So let's see what they mean. There is EV for OOP player, which is 100.4 more or less, and EV for IP player. So those EVs are EVs for our current optimal strategy approximation. So we can see that they sum up to the starting pot. The starting pot is 185, and they sum up to 185, of course. So OOP player, which is a 3-better, wins more, and IP player wins less. Then there is OOP's MES. We use this abbreviation to say maximal exploitive strategy. So this number is how much OOP player could potentially win if they exploited every little possible thing in IP strategy, and the same goes for IP player here. So this is a perfect adversary, someone who knows exactly what you are doing and how much they could win against you per hand. So this number is a bit bigger than this one, but this is not a big difference. So you can see that this is already very close to optimal. And then it tells you how much it's exploitable for. This is per hand, and it's expressed in chips. So perfect opponent could win 0.26. Let's say those are $5-10, so this is 26 cents per hand against you playing perfectly exploitive strategy. So this is very, very close to optimal. So yeah, our tree is solved now. So we can go to the browser tab and try browsing it. As you can see, there is no information displayed for now. So maybe first I will tell you how to navigate the tree. You have this view here, and in yellow you see the node which is selected right now. And you can choose one of two actions. There is a bet 96 or a check. So let's say we want to make a continuation bet. Yeah, and OOP player is to act as OOP decision. Then you have IP decision. You can raise, call, or fold. So if you go, for example, for a call, then you have a turn card. You could have go for a raise. Then there are actions for OOP player again. So let's say you go for a call. We choose one of the turn cards, and this way we navigate the tree. You can go back by clicking one of the previous nodes. So this is very straightforward, and as you can see, it doesn't take a lot of space. Even though this tree is really humongous, it only shows you like the part you are navigating right now, which is very convenient because it doesn't take a lot of screen real estate. So maybe more interesting is to see actually some data, because for now you only see overall frequencies here. When you navigate, you see that there's raise 1.3%, there's mainly call and some folds as well. So this is like overall strategy, overall numbers for a player. So there are buttons here which we can use to display various data. So first, let's see, for example, a strategy. So when you click that, you can see how the strategy looks for IP decision. So there are in green you can see calls, and blue you can see folds, and in red you can see raises. If you hover your mouse over a specific hand, you can see the details for all the combinations inside. So here, for example, I see like only a flush draw because we have hearts on board. So you can see the flush draw is mainly calling, sometimes raising, and other hands are mainly folding right now. So this is the way the strategy is showed. You can try strategy, for example, after, let's say, IP player raises, and what OOP player does. You need to click again, and that's the strategy, right? We are 4-betting with those hands and holding this bet hands and calling flush draws. It would be more convenient if the strategy is refreshed automatically when we are browsing, and we can do that by checking this refresh on the new selection checkbox. So this way, when we are browsing the tree, it's refreshing the strategy automatically to the point when we are right now. So another useful checkbox here is square size proportional to weight. Like right now, you can see that the strategy is takes the full squares for all hands, even though some of those square hands are not that often in range. So when you use that, you will see that, for example, King 4 suited is not always in range, because in a start in range it wasn't with weight 1 on 50%. So here you can see that visually, right? It's 50% of the square. And if you go later in the tree, you will see those getting smaller and smaller. So if you uncheck, you see the strategy for all hands, and if you do that, there is weight information as well. Another interesting thing here is, let's say I want this. When you have various combos and with different weights. So for example, when you have a flush draw but not others, then clicking this will make those proportional. So maybe I'm not speaking clearly here. So let's say we call here, and then there is, let's say, bet. For example, King 3 suited, which was called on the flop only if we have a flush draw. If you don't have this checked, you see that this is calling, but those are folding, and overall is only 1/4 calls and 3/4 of folds. But if you use that, you'll see this weighted according to what the current hand is, right? So you only have King 3 suited, so it's always green, right? Because those other combinations are just not existent right now. Okay, so I recommend checking those to make it easier. Okay, so this is a strategy, and this is straightforward. Another thing which we can see is EV for all hands, which is interesting as well. So let's see, for example, EV for IP player here. You can see that you have this color scale here. So green is the most, and red is the worst hand. So, for example, Queen Jack, which are top 2 pair, is in green, and the EV is 351 chips. But for example, I don't know, King 6 is either a lot with a flush draw or more or less 0 without. So yeah, let's go for all the hands. You can show EV for the other player as well. So you can see those, and again you can make it bigger if you want. There is equity as well. So equity is all-in equity. So assuming it's all-in from now, how often you win the pot. So there's a difference between equity and EV. EV is how much you win on average if you follow the optimal strategy and your opponent follows as well. And EV and equity is the number of times you win if it's all in right now. So you can see the current range of both players as well. So IP have a starting range still, but OP already made a C bet, so the range is different. So this is a betting range. So those are the most important options here. And also there is an option to combine strategy and the EV. in one view, and I think this is the most useful. So you can see strategies as colors, but the numbers which are displayed here and here are EVs. So this is the way to combine a lot of information. You can visually assess what the strategy is and look at EVs, so you can see how close certain actions are, and you know. So for example, if you go to the turn and we choose one of them, and then we make a second barrel. So here we can see that, yeah, again, we are mainly calling on this card. We are sometimes folding, and we can see how good the call is. So for example, when you have ace 2 without a flush draw, flush draw is not possible with 2 of hearts, you can see that call is better than fold by about $2. So this is 0.2 big blind. So folding is actually pretty close here, but calling is a bit better. Okay, so that's for strategy and the EV, and I will be mainly using this option because I like all the information which is displayed here. Another interesting thing which you can do, you can let's say we go back to the flop, and you want to see raising range here, because it's not like easy to decipher from those. So you can click on this big rectangle here, and it shows you the raising range. This is the raising range. You can click on a call. This is a calling range. So you can see that those are mainly flush draws here and pairs. You can click on the folding range as well, which is often interesting because you may want to see what kind of hands are should be folds. So main ace highs without a flush draw. You can see that a flush draw is not here, but other hands are. Also king highs without a flush draw, but also, which is interesting, pocket pairs which are lower than queen and jack. They fold a lot if they don't have a heart. So you see, if you don't have a backdoor flush, you are folding those pairs here, which is interesting and maybe not very intuitive for most people. I suspect that most people wouldn't fold 10-10 without a heart on this board. Yeah, but okay. So this is very interesting to look at. We can go to some sample river, for example. After second barrel, we can go to the river. And then we make a third barrel here, and we want to see what the folding range is on the river. So let's see, there are no queens as expected. There are some jacks, so actually to the third barrel you can fold some jacks and ace jack as well. We can look at the strategy. We can see that those are very close hands. The EV is very close as well, of course. So we can see that the second parcel of jack is a marginal call and or a fold here. So other hands which you fold are worse jacks, and we can see a calling range. There are top pair mainly, some jacks which are not folding, and also some hands like ace 5 and ace 7 which are pairs. This is interesting as those jacks and those hands are for practical purposes the same hand as they are only winning against bluffs. So the solver is choosing them in a way to make it, to include card removal effect. And usually you will end up with mixed strategies this way, because you can't only call jacks because that would be too easy to exploit. So you need to call like various kind of hands to make it impossible to exploit for your opponent. This is usually very complicated, and it's not easy to understand sometimes why optimal strategy is the way it is, but you can dig into it and try to understand. So I want to tell you about one more thing in tree navigation. When you go up and down, maybe you would like to change this, say, the turn card here, but you don't want to go back, choose again, and go like that, because that's not very convenient. So what you can do, you can use your keyboard, and if you press a control key and use arrows, as I'm doing now, I'm putting down arrow, you see that the turn card is changing. So if I use up and down arrows, I'm going up and down in rank. So there's 7 of diamonds now, 8 of diamonds now, 9 of diamonds now. And if I use left and right arrows, I change the suit. So and you can see that when you have this checkbox here checked, the information is automatically refreshed. So you can see how the how the strategy changes depending on the cards. So you can see that you have a lot of raises here when the board pairs, but if there's a small card like 3 of diamond, then you don't have raises almost at all. So you can see, and yeah, I think this is very nice. Like for example, we have a 3 of diamonds. We can see that there are more calls here, and if you go up, you see that this pattern is like going up because with the card, right? So it makes it easier to visualize the strategy. Yeah. So another way to look at the range, you may want to know, for example, how when you are looking at the betting range, it looks quite difficult to understand because there is a lot of mixing, and that's the way it is in poker, that when you face a bet or check decision, then optimal strategy is often to mix a lot, and there are rarely clear bets or clear checks. So it's difficult to make sense of this range just by looking at it. You can click here, but yeah. So that's why we developed this range explorer here. If you click this button, you can see the range for OOP players, so the one who is about to make a second barrel, and it's easier to understand what the range is. You can see, maybe I make it bigger. You can see those there's a split by category, so you can see how often you have a set, how often you have an over pair, and things like that. You can reset all of them, and you can see how 2 pairs set, what you have in range. Top pair, you have those. Also, when you check one of those categories, you can see what the equity is of this. So top pair has 76% right now against the opponent, but the set has 92%. So that's one way to use it. And another is you can look at the betting range. So you can see that the betting range has a lot of top pairs over pairs, 24%, 21%. Together it's 45 and 5% for this. So strong hands are more than 50% of the betting range on the turn. And if you go to the checking range, you see that it's way weaker because there are almost no strong hands, and it's mainly ace high and some lower pairs. So maybe we can go to some other situation, like maybe we want to go to the river and open range explorer here. So again, we can see, I wanted to here. You can see that the betting range has mainly very strong hands. So top pair plus over pair plus a set and a straight. It's together is you can see how much. It's 69% of the betting range is at least top pair here. So we can see it's very strong, but also it contains some bluffs here. So ace high, king high, and nothing. You can see that you never bet with a middle pair in this spot, which makes sense. You want to check with those hands. So that's range explorer. It has a lot of options as well. You have EV rescaled. You have this what is it called? Like IR, so equity realization. Yeah. So you can see also those graphs here. So there's a lot of options to play around. Yeah, but this is a quick start video, so I'm not going to. Okay, so that's browsing, and that's the result given by the solver. You can see that there are really a lot of things to look at. Or maybe this is frequency across all runouts. So for example, when we are on the turn and we are about to make a second barrel, you can see that this is made in 67% on this card. but overall it's only made 51%. This is average across all cards. So we can already know, like if we pair the board, then we only bet 30%, right? So that makes sense because now the caller made a lot of trips, so we need to be careful. You can another way to visualize things across many cards is use Hotness feature. It's yeah, I'm going a bit into details now, but there are so many interesting things, and I just don't want to miss them. So there's a Runout EV comparison. This is Hotness. You can use Ctrl+H to start it. And the way it works, you get this grid. You can get it in this exact spot, so before making a second barrel. And you can see, for example, EV for OOP player, and you can see it across all the cards. So you can see which cards are good, so hot, and which are cold, so which are bad. And this is a clear pattern here. You can see that hearts are in general very bad for the preflop aggressor who made a continuation bet, because IP player is making a lot of flushes apparently. And also cards which pair the board are not good, because IP again is making a lot of trips. But cards which are blanks, like those ones are very good for OOP player. As you can see, he's making more money out of those cards. So you can look at strategy as well, and you can see that there are more second barrel bets on those cards and less on hearts, for example. So yeah, there's equity as well. EV, you can click around, and if you want to go to a different spot, so for example here, you can open Hotness again, and you will see EVs for this spot. So this is a bit different. So after second barrel already, because it depends on which point on the tree you want to see the EV. So I think this is really nice, and it allows you to make sense. I understand what cards are good and what aren't. Maybe one more example actually. We go to 3 of diamonds and then bet call, and then we want to see the river cards. So here we are wondering which river is good for OOP and which is good for IP. So if I click for OOP player, so the aggressor, we can see that again cards which pair the board are not very good. They are in red, so jacks and queens. Blanks are the best as usual. Nines are in the middle because they fill some straights. So IP player has more strong hands now, but still they are not that dangerous as, for example, hearts. Okay, so okay, of course, one more thing in the Hotness feature is that you can actually click on those fields and change the runout. So if you you are wondering why, for example, on 3 of clubs we are making so much money, so you can click that and you are on 3 of clubs, and then you can click 5 of diamonds, you are on 5 of diamonds. So this is easy way to navigate, and all those things refresh automatically. Okay, so that's it about the browser for now. You can see there are a lot of tools in PioSOLVER, and there are some videos on the website when you can. Maybe actually I'm going to show you. Wait, discussion here, but I'm going to open my website. Here is our website, and then is FAQ and videos, and here you can see the old quick start guide for now, but it's going to be refreshed to this one. There are new features in our releases as well. There is FAQ part 1 and part 2. This is recommended to watch because it's nicely structured in a way that you can see the questions and answers and links to them. So there are also written FAQ here and here, and this one is especially recommended to read. There is our blog about new releases in PioSOLVER. So most of those features are mentioned in either FAQ or some other video, and I will make more materials about them. But it's not time to go like in details against them. You can just experiment and ask and watch the videos. Okay, so there are several things I want to mention before wrapping up this video. So first is that you have those three configs here, and you have seen at the beginning of this video, this is a lot of work to fill up this three configs. So once you have something ready, let's say maybe we can modify some things here. We can want to add a donk bed here, and we want maybe more bed sizes for OOP player. We can use a comma here and use pod bed here. So then you can, when you have a ready config, you can save current three parameters and video sample config, and it's available here. So if you click and then you have the one you built. So another interesting thing is how to save the results. So let's say we have this tree here which we have solved and we want to keep it for later. The way to save the results is go to File, and we have Save Small Tree, or Save Very Small Tree, or Save Full Tree. I'm going to show you how that works and which one you should use. So if we save Full Tree, let's say I want a new folder here, which are video saves, and I make a full tree, so full save, and then I want to make a small tree save, small save, and then a very small save as well, very small. So you can look at them now, and you can see that the full save is quite big. Actually, is 200 megabytes. Very small save is quite small. It's only 20 megabytes, and the very small save is very small. So the way it works is that the small save here is without reverse. So when we load this tree, small save, you can browse it as before. But there are no rivers in there. So look at it. Yeah, so what actually happens is when you go to the river, the solver is going to automatically recalculate it for you. So if you click it, you see that there is a very small pause. Maybe it's not visible on this video because it's very fast. But if you go, keeping the here, if you go like. Yeah, actually, no, I'm not going to be able to show it. But if you click the card, there's like a small delay, and this time is taken to recalculate the river, and so you see the results. This is fast, and the way it works is that in tools configuration, you can tell the solver how exactly you want the rivers to be recalculated. So this is 0.05%, but if you change it to like 0.2, which is maybe not recommended, but I'm going to show you that now if you go to different river, it's going to take longer. There's a visible pause now to recalculate that river. So you can see that those small saves are very usable, even though the rivers are not there, and it takes like some milliseconds to recalculate. They are still very usable. So that's the way which is recommended to store trees. There's a small tree saves. Very small trees are not recommended. They are usually meant for a preflop solver, because the trees there are even bigger. So maybe then that's a good idea. Okay, so I just wanted to mention this tree building again, and you can use multiple bed sizes without problems. So, for example, here if you build this tree, we are going to lose our results, but we don't care because we have just saved them. So you have more bed sizes here, and again, it's very nice to experiment this way. You can add more bed sizes. You can build the tree, and before you click go, you don't need to solve it. You can just go browse it and see the options you wanted are there. You see that this is not solved. You need to go back and click go to solve. But so yeah, there are more tree building options as well here. I'm not going to go through them right now. They are explained in FAQs and released videos. Okay, let me look if there's anything else. Oh, there's a preflop tab, and while the preflop solver is only available in an Edge version, because it really requires a big hardware and it's not something you can run on your laptop, for example, you can still use a pure preflop solver, so that's a solver which assumes there is no postflop play at all, so it's a checkdown. So you can choose one of those configurations. For example, I have here heads up with raised to 2.5 big blinds. I can build pure preflop tree and now solve it, which takes 2 seconds, not even. And you have this solution for pure preflop, right? So maybe it's not the most practical thing, but you can do that. Also, there are PioCloud configurations. So our friend is running a PioCloud service, and he is selling the solutions which he is calculating on very powerful servers. So you can see a sample configurations here with the one which he is solving. So yeah, you can of course calculate it yourself if you have computers strong enough. Okay, that's preflop. There is tree building. There is a browser. I mentioned Range Explorer. I mentioned Hotness. Yeah, there are so many features. Maybe I will just stop here now. I think you should be able to play around and input the spots you want, and that's the way to use that program. You just input some simple configuration, then you play around, you add bed sizes, you watch the videos and see how to use those things which are used for very advanced tree configurations when you want some specific things which are not possible with this simple form. And then you go browse and you try to understand what the optimal strategy is and how it looks and how it varies from your play. Like for example, why we only c-bet 40% on this board, and I think most people would c-bet more. So that's interesting to understand. Oh, there is one feature which is very popular is node lock-in, which you can start with Ctrl plus N. So this is a form for node lock-in, but this is again a topic for a different video, and is actually described in, if you go to FAQ and you go to FAQ part 1, you will see oh no, maybe not in this one, maybe it was in this one. No, I'm sorry, there is a separate video actually. So there is node lock-in example here. If you click on this and go through this feature. So that's it. I hope you will be able to use the program, and I just want to say that you shouldn't feel overwhelmed about all the features here. There's a lot of stuff, but you don't really need it when you start, and when you need it you will know it, and then it's there. So it's not something which you should use or which is valuable for all the people. Most of this stuff here is for very specific use cases. Like for example, you can you might change the config of colors. So for people who are colorblind, they can change how those things look. But this is not something you need to go into when you start using the program. Okay, so the last piece of information is how to contact us on the website. If you go here, there's contact us. This is the instructions which you should follow to make the life easier for us and for you. The best place to ask questions is our 2+2 thread. You can see that this is very active, and I answer questions daily on it, and I try to write detailed answers, so you can see it, and other people can see it as well. And so another way is to email us or use our Skype group. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a lot of fun with the program. That's it. Bye.